Good morning, YouTube. Big news in the world of Street Fighter 6. Sort of. You see, we just had the Nintendo Direct for the Switch 2 launch, where we got all the details about the upcoming Switch 2. And honestly, I think it looks pretty good. The Switch 2 is definitely a lot beefier than the Switch. It's going to support up to 1080p and 120 FPS when not docked, and 4K resolution when docked. 256 gigabytes of storage. The specs are looking pretty decent so far. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to run Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom at greater than 20 FPS when I light the grass on fire, though. That was my main issue with the Switch 1. But I think the console looks pretty good, and me personally, I feel like Nintendo is the last bastion of actually providing a worthwhile console. I mean, my PS5 is sitting over there collecting dust. I just feel like the other consoles, Xbox and PlayStation, are kind of like big PCs at this point, and you might as well play on a PC. And then the Switch actually has some unique features that make it worthwhile, you know, being a hybrid mobile and home console, and also Nintendo's exclusive lockdown on their console exclusives make them, you know, maybe that's anti-consumer practices right there, but it makes it a bit more worthwhile, in my opinion, to actually buy a Nintendo console. The only console I ever boot up is my Switch. And beyond that, it's coming out for a $449 price tag, or $500 with Mario Kart. And what's that? Digital games are now $80. Yeah, so a lot of people are kind of pissed about the price increase for games. It's a whole other can of worms. I kind of have mixed feelings about it. It's also rumored that physical games will be $90 more expensive than the digital games as well. So yeah, times are a-changing in the video game market. But you know, video games used to cost $80, $90 in the 90s as well. You know, it's kind of interesting. We've come full circle. There was a pretty good period of everything being standardized $60 for a while, but we are now far beyond that. And of course, with the launch of the Switch 2 and this Nintendo Direct, they announced all of the upcoming titles, including a new title from FromSoft, The Dusk Bloods. Seems eerily familiar. Well, it turns out this is Bloodborne at home. Instead of doing Bloodborne 2, they got The Dusk Bloods, a PvE focused multiplayer action title, which is kind of like steampunk Bloodborne. I'm guessing they didn't get the rights back from Sony to do something with Bloodborne 2. And it kind of looks a little bit off, to be quite honest. I'm a big Dark Souls FromSoft fan, but I kind of had mixed feelings about this as well, except for this guy here. I love this guy. So, funny steampunk armor man rocketing off across the sky. He kind of saved it for me. But beyond that, we of course have a big Street Fighter 6 announcement. Here comes a new challenger. What could it be? Well, oh, is it Elena? We finally get to see Elena. Street Fighter 6 Years 1 through 2 Fighters Edition. A new edition for all challengers. It's like the brand new update to Street Fighter 6. Oh my god! It's announced finally. Well, okay, let me kill the theatrics. This is the new update for the Nintendo Switch 2, and basically, it's just going to be Street Fighter 6 on the Nintendo Switch. They did add a few new modes, including some new multiplayer modes, but just gimmick modes. They have the motion control battle mode, exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2, and they're also bundling in all the DLC characters and costumes as well. You can see some Elena exclusive artwork there as well this time also. But beyond that, that's it. There's no Elena gameplay trailer, no nothing like that announced, which I thought was kind of a huge miss. I mean, where the hell is she? It feels like Capcom is definitely falling behind on the DLC schedule, probably due to getting this launch ready for the Nintendo Switch, and also Monster Hunter Wilds as being a huge priority for them. So, cool that it's coming to the Switch 2. It'll be interesting to see how this game performs on that platform, because like I said before, the Switch 1, it just can't run anything at 60 FPS. And this will be supporting cross-play, so people from the Switch 2 will be joining the battle, fighting you online as well. So that's pretty interesting to see here. So yeah, Street Fighter 6, Years 1 through 2 Fighters Edition. The Elena artwork looks cool. No announcement for Elena herself, though. We're still waiting for a gameplay trailer. And you can see here, it's going to have the Years 1 and 2 DLC Character Pass, 4 stages added up to Year 2, and all the outfits and colors as well. So basically, it's just a bundle for Street Fighter 6. It's going to also release for all the other platforms as well. So this is like the arcade edition for Street Fighter 6, comparable to Street Fighter 5. When Street Fighter 5 did Arcade Edition, that also was released with a massive balance patch, introducing V-Trigger 2s on top of the V-Trigger 1s, and a fully cinematic trailer for all the DLC characters upcoming for the entire year. And that was one of the greatest trailers for Street Fighter, period, in my opinion. So kind of disappointing that we're not getting something like that right now. But you can see here some more details. It's going to support matches through local wireless, which is pretty cool. Includes modes exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2. It's going to have all the 26 characters. And there's amiibos as well. So Luke, Jamie, and Kimberly amiibos. I can't believe these things are still around and in circulation. Do people still buy these? I've never bought an amiibo. I'm sorry. It's just not for me. What can I say? But beyond that, pretty interesting details here from Fubar Duck. Digital Foundry confirms that the Switch 2 screen has VRR, which means it ought to be the same in docked mode. That should make it capable of input latency similar or identical to the PS5 version with VRR. Great sign. So, I mean, I talked about it on Extra Trashy a while ago. I was kind of facetiously joking about the Switch 2 freeing us from the shackles of Sony oppression. I mean, Sony has a monopoly on the FGC right now, which I personally do not enjoy. I think the PS5 has proved to be a really bad console for fighting games. It's expensive, it's bulky, it's hard to transport, and then generally has really poor configurations. And that's not to say that it's not playable when optimized on a proper low input delay monitor with VRR supported. The input delay on PS5 is not bad. The problem is generally those settings aren't done correctly or are missed between each individual setup, so it leads to inconsistent input delay across setups, and oftentimes the PS5s themselves overheat very easily, being used for hours on end, and that leads to frame drops offline as well due to the overheating and poor performance from the consoles being overused. So there's a lot of problems I have with PS5 for offline tournaments, but when properly optimized and not overheating, it's not bad. It's not the worst thing ever, but generally on average, it's a very bad experience. Is the unfortunate reality of competing in Street Fighter 6 on PS5 setups. I personally really do not enjoy it, but like I said, it can be good if optimized. So having another console enter the fray just to like push some competition into space for me would be great. I was speaking facetiously on Extra Trashy predicting that Switch 2 would save the FGC, but I wonder if that actually might end up being a reality. We'll see. It's cheaper than PS5 and it's much more portable. I mean, maybe it being docked would be an issue. Smash tournaments have solved this though. I think they like lock down the switches into the dock itself. But it'll be interesting to see how this develops for the scene itself. I'm excited for the console, of course. I'm excited that Street Fighter 6 is coming to the console. Hopefully that it gets more people into the Street Fighter 6 fold and competing with each other. And they confirmed on the specs for the dock here, LAN port. One of the main things about the Switch was that it had no LAN port on the dock. In order to use Ethernet and plug in and play a wired connection, you had to get a USB to Ethernet adapter, which I did do. I played Smash a little bit online in the past with that. But generally, with Nintendo consoles, online and Wi-Fi became synonymous. Smash community calls any online gameplay Wi-Fi, even if the players themselves use an Ethernet cable. They call online modes and online competition, online gameplay, Wi-Fi. It became synonymous, which is disastrous for the competitive gaming community. So all the new Street Fighter 6 players coming in with the Switch 2, LAN port right there. We're going to call it online gameplay, wired connection. Street Fighter 6 netcode is amazing, but Wi-Fi is always going to be the weakest link in any connection. It will lead to packet delays and cause issues with rollbacks. So please LAN port Switch 2 users. And that's all I had. Quick little update about Switch 2 and Street Fighter 6 coming to that console. Elena, when? I don't know. Feels like we're behind. We'll see. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.